Welcome, everyone, to the Bite and Click podcast. My name is Caleb.
And my name is Greg.
And we are going to talk about your favorite video games. So grab a pint of your favorite drink, find a nice, comfy chair, and you know what? You've earned yourself a Monokuma coin.
A what coin?
A Monokuma coin. Our viewers have earned one for sticking with us for this long. Because what are we on now, Greg? What episode is this?
This is episode 21, Caleb.
21. Can you believe that, Greg?
Caleb, I can't wait until episode 42 when they all earn themselves another Momofuku coin.
You got it. You got it right. Yeah, I was throwing in a little Danganronpa reference.
Oh, okay. I would have never gotten that.
Yeah, it's not a. I don't think. Well, I don't know. Danganronpa might be popular. I recently started. Shout out to the Grumps. I've recently started watching the Grumps playthrough of Danganronpa 2. Because that game is a crawl, and I'm not willing to put myself through playing. That's one of those like 300 hours, to like do everything kind of games.
And it's like the reading game, right?
Yeah,
Visual
for the
novel
most part
is the term I was looking for.
Yeah, it definitely is. It's definitely a heavy visual novel while also being like somewhat of like a detective game, but at the rate that the game over-explains itself, like all of the detective stuff ends up being lost because it's just so obvious. And yeah, but anyways, wanted to throw in a little Monokuma coin and let the viewers know we've been doing this for so long. And Greg, I don't know about you, but I think we're coming along pretty nicely.
Caleb, we are the nicest, if you will. But nice. I have a very important question the fans are dying to know.
Okay.
Caleb, will you be catching the Barbie-Oppenheimer double feature this weekend?
I will not be, no.
Oh,
no,
man.
Thank you.
So you're only going to go see Barbie is what you're telling me.
Yeah, but I'm still going to get the shell shock from the explosions in the next theater over.
You're going to get like the secondhand nuclear... You're going to get nuclear radiation is what you're going to get.
Yeah.
You're too close to the blast zone.
Yeah, pretty much. I can't believe that both of those movies are coming out at the same time.
It's funny because I am like morbidly curious about both of those films, but I probably won't see either of them.
Yeah, I don't know much about the other one. I've heard relentless things about Barbie, constant things, too much. But what's the other one called?
Oppenheimer.
Oppenheimer.
It's
yeah,
the name of the dude that created the nuclear bomb.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah, I've heard very little about it aside from it's going to be chaos to have that play at the same time.
Yeah, like I probably won't see Oppenheimer because I think it would be maybe a little too existential for me. I feel like getting into like, oh, let's go watch a movie about the nuclear bomb is just gonna fill me with dread. And then the other one I probably won't see is because I'm afraid I would turn into a Barbie girl.
Greg, you already are. You've been one since day one. So, Greg, I want you to go watch that movie and let your inner Barbie out, Greg.
All I'm missing is my own Barbie world.
Oh, man. What a time that'll be.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think cinema is for me anymore, Caleb.
Yeah.
But you know what is for me?
Huh.
Video games.
Oh my god, he did it. He did it.
And let me tell you what, I played one heck of a video game this week.
Oh, why don't you tell me about it?
I will. The game's called Dysmantle. Have you heard of Dysmantle?
I have indeed, yeah.
So Dysmantle was from like 2 years ago at this point, I think, or maybe last year. Who can remember? But I first heard about it I think through Kind of Funny, through a fellow podcasting Greg Miller. And it's a top-down zombie looting kind of game. Not looting as much, but like you collect resources to build better backpacks and weapons and gear and whatnot to be able to complete the objectives in the game. And the first time I tried it, I kind of struggled to get into it. It was not quite catching me. but every time I see it in my like Xbox like owned games screen, it would always be tempting me. I'm like, I wonder this game. I'm not sure. And finally, a couple of weeks ago, I re-downloaded it. I feel like I should give it another chance. Chance. Uh, Words have been hard this episode. I don't know if anyone else is picking up on that, but I think I've had a stroke.
It's been a long 21 episodes, that's for sure.
Our podcast is now of legal age, actually, so I was drinking for it. Yes. But I re-downloaded it. I started over because I jumped into like my old save, and it was just like nothing here is making sense for me. I need to restart and see if it can find the magic. And boy, was the magic found. The magic was back. I took it a little slower than the first time. I didn't try to rush and just progress the story. Instead, I went through and just like used or hit everything in the environment to break it down into whatever material it granted me. And then would bring it back to because basically how the game's set up is you go out and you have like, you start with like 4 slots for your backpack. And then you go out, fill that up with material. Then you go back to your fireplace. And at your fireplace, there's a little box where you can drop your materials so you can go out and get more. And once you have enough of certain materials, you can upgrade your weapon or your backpack to get a bigger backpack. And the loop repeats, and then along the way you're killing zombies and progressing to different areas of the game and progressing the like minimal story that it has. It's more just an objective based kind of game. But I took it a little slower. Instead of trying to progress and get to the next step and get to the next step, I really went through and like got everything I could for materials in areas before finding my next fire, and upgraded weapons a little bit. And there is also a leveling system that's attached to it, so like you're kind of gaining levels at a better pace playing it in this way instead of trying to rush. You're like under leveled and your equipment isn't upgraded to where they want you to be for where you are in the game. So slowing down really kind of helped me click with this game, and I kind of realized like, oh, this is how this game is supposed to work. And I had some real good fun with it.
I think the game is I think the game's good on the one pure fact that Greg, helped you get your groove back.
The Emperor found his groove.
The Emperor has a new groove, perhaps.
I would agree.
Nice.
The interesting thing that I was thinking about recently?
Yeah.
Actually, it was
How
on the
did
way
he
home
lose
today.
his groove?
How did the Emperor lose his groove? Was this like a blame it on the boogie situation? Did he blame it on the sunshine when he was supposed to blame it on the boogie, lost his groove? These are the kind of questions we need to ask.
He must have, because you can't blame it on the moonlight.
You cannot blame it on the moonlight.
Yeah, and you probably can't blame it on the good times.
I certainly wouldn't.
Yeah, but blame it on the boogie?
Blame it on the boogie.
Blame it on the boogie.
No, actually, on the way home today, I was thinking, I think this podcast has helped me get over my, like, need to play a game to completion.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I don't feel the need as much a lot of times to beat every game that I play. Perfect example of this is last week, I brought Pray for the Gods to the podcast. Pray for the Gods is deleted off of my Steam Deck now.
Yeah, that's the circle of life.
I really enjoyed the time I spent with that game, but I kind of had a couple of days off and I went back into it. And the open world combat in that game is terrible. Some of the worst I've ever experienced.
Yeah, I have read that.
And
yeah.
I feel bad being so harsh about it, but like I've tried different methods of not just like running in head first and swinging. I've tried like some ranged combat. I've tried multiple different forms of taking on enemies in the open world setting specifically, and I just keep like running into a wall. And it's like, well, I mean, at that point it's not my fault. It's the game mechanics being too rigid or not effective, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I kind of just felt like, well, there are enough games in this world, on this planet, coming out in the future, even into ethereal. I don't know what I'm saying. Where like I could play Tears of the Kingdom and get some amount of the same satisfaction with big bosses that you have to kind of chip away at to take down.
Yeah.
I could go back play Shadow of the Colossus. I could go try Last Guardian again. Like Pray for the Gods. Well, I think that the like main like loop of the enemies being these big climbable monsters is really cool. I just couldn't put up with the open world combat, and even some of the exploration to get to the bosses was starting to get on my nerves. So like, but if I wasn't on this podcast and didn't have a chance to like talk about it and kind of uh well also honestly feel like I needed to bring something for this week, I might have been a little more like, well, you know what else am I doing with my time?
Yeah.
But the combination of like there's always something else to play, and like, and the game, I gave it a shot, so it's time to move on, kind of has changed the way I play games to an extent.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I've always kind of been uh of the group that's more like I'll play this game till I'm bored of it, not till I beat it. Because I don't know, if I don't completely like 100% enjoy what I'm playing, I just feel no reason to continue playing it. Like even just to cross it off a list, I can't do it. That's why like I mean that's honestly why like I in general I don't think there's tons of games that I've beat in general. But like then when I find a game like Killer Frequency or anything like I talked about on the last podcast, games like that where like I'll start playing it and then I'll play it all the way through to the end. There's such few games that I found that like make me want to do that. And like those games, yeah, because I think I end up playing or because I end up beating games less. I feel like when I find some of those games that like push me to keep playing, I always feel like those are some of my favorite games, and like the experience is just that much better, you know?
For sure. That's like I mean, Chained Echoes is kind of a good example of that. I I was looking for an RPG at the time, and for some reason came upon that game in a YouTube video, and like it was a grind to beat, but I never didn't want to play it. You know what I mean?
Right. Yep.
Yeah. So it's nice to find those games instead of feeling like you got to beat something out of obligation.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Greg, I recently took on a new beast of a game that I've never played before, and I'm not gonna lie to you, I didn't even start at the first one. I'm starting at number 4 in the series.
Okay, hold on. Let me guess, because there's not many. Well, there are plenty of games with a number 4, but let me take a stab at this.
Okay, there'll
Okay.
be more guessing later. Wink, wink.
Whoa.
Nudge,
Is it
nudge.
trivia
But
time?
it might be trivia time later.
Oh! I can't
But you
wait.
can take a
Okay.
guess at this one too if you want.
Just Cause 4.
No, no, nope, wouldn't can't do that one. Just Cause 2, which everyone loves. I never got into that. Um, no. What I played is Age of Wonders 4.
I wonder what that game's about.
You did it again. That son of a bitch. You did it again. Uh, so let me tell you about it, Greg. Have you ever played Civilization?
I have, yes.
Okay, so you are familiar with how Civilization works. You have like you pick a historical figure, and then you make a little town, and then you kind of upgrade your city and settle other places. You go to war, you do science, you do religion, all of that good stuff.
Now, I wouldn't say I'm clear how Civilization works, but yes, I've played Civilization.
Okay, is anybody really? There's
Exactly.
there's tons to that game. So what I found, Age of Wonders 4 pretty much takes everything that you know about Civilization and then just builds onto it. It's like they come into your house that you know and love and without your consent, they say, "Hey, uh, I don't think there's enough rooms on this bad boy," and then they just start building on it. And at first, you're pretty nervous because you don't know what that room's gonna look like. But then you get in there, and oh my god, the room they built, Greg, they built a grand ballroom in your house, and it's just beautiful. Um, Age of Wonders 4 is Civilization, but like with fantasy. It's a complete like almost Dungeons and Dragons esque like overhaul for Civilization. It's not a mod either. I'm saying overhaul, but like it's its own game. But man, it's pretty much Civilization. It follows all of the main core components of Civilization, building a city and then building units, scouts, builders, whatever you need to build more and to settle more. Well, there's no builders in the game. Scratch that one. But everything else is there. And yeah, you're building up armies. There's different ways to win. It's all kind of turn based, but it is the closest game to Civilization and also the furthest game from Civilization I've ever played. It's just wild how different it feels while being so familiar. There's different races, so instead of just humans and historical figures, with Age of Wonders 4, you play as different fantasy races. So you can play as humans, dwarfs, halflings. Excuse me. There's elves, everything. There's everything. And there's even little frog people. All right, little tiny toad people. And rat people too. There's little mice people. But you can play as any of those. And you get to build your own ruler too, which is pretty cool. And that ruler becomes like a playable character in the game that you like, kind of like the general of your troops in a way. Like in Civilization, you had generals and stuff that you could build, or like just special units. And your character that you build ends up being a special unit, and you get to do some pretty RPG heavy stuff with upgrading perks, getting new weapons and armor for your character, all while 100% still being Civilization and meeting other factions, meeting small city states. There's still those around the map. But now, instead of just finding like bandit encampments around the map, now you find monsters and different beasts. There's dragons. I couldn't even list them all. There's giants. There's a whole bunch of stuff. But it really does feel like you're playing your own slightly more fantasy Game of Thrones, uh, but in Civilization, and it's just wild.
So Caleb, you've described the ways that it's like Civ,
Yeah.
but the only thing holding me back from playing this game
Okay.
is knowing that it's got the same monarchy style mechanics as Age of Empires.
Uh. Yeah. Okay. um.
Wait, is that
Yeah.
no Crusader Kings is the one I'm thinking of? Damn it!
Okay. I was gonna say I was trying to
No,
think
yeah.
of what an Age of Empires.
No, I was thinking of Crusader Kings, right?
Gotcha. Yeah, definitely not as in depth as Crusader Kings. I started that game so long ago, and even if I played it up until this day, I still think I'd be in the tutorial phases. So
Isn't that the
uh,
one where the line of succession is like a big part of it, or
oh yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. No, you're right. You have to manage like yeah, and like relatives too. Not just your lineage
Yeah.
matters. It's everybody's. You manage all of that shit. You can plot assassinations. The game's nuts.
I just want my little toad son to be in next in line and married to a fairy.
Yeah, well, half of that you can do. Yeah, no, not as in depth as Crusader Kings,
Okay.
which is a plus for me. Um, but it's also kind of neat because it has so it has like the normal gameplay of Civilization, but then the combat is like Civilization but kind of evolved in a way where instead of doing combat on the big overworld map where you normally would in Civilization, it dives you into this little mini map, or not so much mini map, but this smaller map, where you do a battle and like you can command your troops. And they actually reward you in battle for doing like some military things. Like if you flank the enemy, there's bonuses for flanking and stuff. So it's mostly Civilization, but with like an even more evolved combat system, which I love. The combat is engaging and it's difficult too. It's a little brutal because now you have things like spells that both you and the enemy can do. And spells can be anything from like heal your troops or, you know, uh, there's a chain lightning spell where if you zap one troop, if there's more troops adjacent to that troop, they get zapped too. And like all of that can be done like acquired and stuff through those RPG elements that I mentioned earlier. So it's Civilization, but to a degree even more in depth in ways.
It's interesting. I'd like to say I'll check it out because that's what sounds good for the podcast. But man, I don't know. I like what you're laying down, but I struggle with the Civilization type of games.
Yeah.
I think Civilization Revolution on the Xbox 360. I got some good time into that, and I enjoyed that. But there's something, and that one was specifically made for the like controller in mind, a little bit stripped back for us console simpletons, you know?
I mean, as a whole, I think Civilization can be a little hard to get into for anybody.
Yeah.
It's a very time consuming game, and like Age of Wonders is the same way. And I don't know. I don't always have time to sit down and do, like 30 rounds of Civilization or something. So I think regardless, it can be a hit or miss game to get into.
Yeah. I would like to, but I can't make any promises.
So, Greg, what else have you been playing this week?
You know, Caleb, last week I talked to you and our lovely listeners about a headline from IGN that was that made me laugh a little bit.
Yep.
And I didn't plan on bringing another one this week, and this one isn't so much funny as much as it's a combination of two things I hold dear to my heart. So I guess we're running into a segment now, which I'm going to call Greg's favorite headline of the week.
All right.
Do.
Oh my God, he brought his own theme music.
Yeah, you like that?
Let this guy in the studio.
Yeah,
Get him out.
You know,
get him out of here.
I paid for my studio time. Caleb, the headline for the week.
Yep.
Death Stranding's Sam Porter Bridges arrives in Fall Guys tomorrow.
Oh, those are two very different games.
I love it. I want him so bad. I only occasionally jump into Fall Guys. Fall into guys. Nope. Fall into Fall Guys.
There you go. Yeah. Yeah.
But I'll probably jump in and see how I can get myself this Sam Porter Bridges skin, because I love me some Norman Reedus. I want the Norman Reedus bean.
Yeah, I tell you what, I'm not a huge fan of Fall Guys. I'm not a big fan of like that type of party game, I guess. But Greg, you let me know when you're getting on. I'll hop on with you. We'll have a grand old time. I haven't touched that game in, oh man, years probably.
Mm-hmm. Caleb, I'm not gonna lie, I've jumped on a couple times recently.
Oh, you son of a bitch.
It's still a good time.
Hey, I'm glad to hear it. I don't think it's necessarily a bad game. I'm just not a fan of games where like when you lose, you sit at a screen until the next match starts or you get kicked back to the menu. That kind of shit gets tiring for me.
I get it. I do understand.
Yeah, but yeah, it's pretty cool. Are they putting in a lot of like characters from other things in there?
Well, I'll be honest, I haven't paid much attention.
Okay.
The only other skin that I know about in that game, and it's because I own it, is a WWE wrestler Xavier Woods. He's got his little crown and got his little wrestling attire.
Yeah.
And he's just,
Greg,
just a little bean boy.
Greg, are you on the Fall Guys Battle Pass?
Caleb, hit me up. I got that Fall Guys Battle Pass. I got the affiliate link. So if you hit me up and use the code Pint and Click, you get 20% off your Battle Pass. No, I'm kidding. No, I'm not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't.
I wouldn't.
Yeah.
Last game I bought a Battle Pass for was Halo Infinite.
Yep.
And we all saw how that game turned out.
We did.
I think technically it was actually Marvel Snap, but I mean, that's a mobile game.
Yeah. What are you gonna do?
Yeah,
you know?
what are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do?
Here's another thing, Caleb.
Yeah.
I thought about this recently.
Okay.
And owning a Steam Deck has been great. I love it. It's awesome to have like a little mini PC on the go.
Yep.
But it has reawoken something deep within me from my childhood.
Oh.
It's this childhood anxiety of like having a like portable gaming device that is always going to run out of battery. I don't know if you ever experienced this as well, but like as soon as that thing hits 50%, I'm just like, sure, it's gonna turn off any second. My brain's just like, all right, well, it's dead. Okay.
I don't play any portable like gaming things usually. So I don't normally like get that feeling, but that being said, with this new laptop, it's it's a beefy laptop, and it's pretty much running some heavy things. Like I'm using like some 3D modeling software for like 3D printing and stuff. And
the national
I've
banking system runs through Caleb's laptop.
Yeah. No, but I've never been more terrified of something dying on me in my entire life though. Like I feel like I've forgotten what that feeling was like because I mostly play with my Switch docked. And then all of a sudden, I take my laptop, in a different room than my charger, and I start using it, and then it immediately hits me that, oh boy, this might die on me.
Yeah, it's the exact same thing. And like I was a big like handheld gamer as a kid. Like I had the Nintendo DS, and I had the Game Boy Advance and the Game Boy, Color, and the all of them. I had like all of the handheld consoles as a kid, and it was just always a thing of like, oh, the battery's gonna run out in 5 minutes. But somehow with those consoles, especially like I remember having the like folding the folding Game Boy Advance, the SB or the SB, I think. That like it always was like, okay, your battery's low, and then like 5 hours later you're still just like going on to the next gym in Pokemon, and you're just like, okay, well, this thing tells me it's gonna die at some point.
Greg, you like trivia?
Caleb, I love trivia.
Hey, that's good. I've got some trivia for you, Greg. We talked about this last week a little bit. You had me guess some Steam titles, and I realized, hey, my Steam library, kind of wacky. Not gonna lie to you. Some games I don't know if you would expect to be on my Steam library. Or I guess I should say you'd probably expect them to be on there, but I don't know. Like, I don't know if you would think I have the most hours in these games. So, Greg, I wanted to do a fun little segment here where I have a list of my top played Steam games. All right. I have up to 10 of them. I don't need you to guess all 10. I just want you to try guessing a few. If you go for 10 and you get 10, hey, that's good too. But I just want you to try guessing some, and let's see how many you can get up on the board.
Okay, I am actually taking notes right now. That's how seriously I'm taking this.
Oh, there we go. All right, let's do it.
So my first guess.
Okay.
Kind of hinted at this last week, I think. Arma 3.
Oh, Greg, that is a good guess. I'm glad you got that one. Yeah, okay, so this is my third most played game on Steam. And you know what? I didn't write down hours, but let me quickly jump onto Steam here, and I'll tell you my hours.
Okay.
Because I think that's going to be fun too.
Like I said, you kind of showed your hand a little bit with that last week, so I felt pretty safe that was going to be somewhere on the list.
Yeah. So, Greg, my third most played game, Arma 3, with 114 hours.
Okay. And third most. Okay.
Third most. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
I'm not afraid to say these times. All right. I take pride in the amount of hours I've spent on Arma 3. Beautiful game.
Hmm. Okay. I think I've formulated my next guess.
All right, hit me, Greg.
This one, this is a layup. Truck
Okay.
driving simulator.
Oh my god. You'd think that'd be up on my list, right? I um Greg, I'm really gonna disappoint you of this one, okay? I have not played Truck Driving Simulator for as long as I personally would like to.
There's time to redeem that, Caleb.
There is time to redeem that, and I just might. But as of right now, there is no Truck Simulator on my 10 list.
Okay. My next guess?
Yep.
Fallout 4.
Ooh, there you go, Greg. You got my fourth most played game.
Okay.
Fourth most played. Greg, would you like to know how many hours I have on Truck Simulator?
I would, yes.
Listen, you're gonna hate me, Greg. You're gonna shun me. You're gonna call me names, and you're gonna lock me in a cabinet.
Okay.
I only have 5 hours on Truck
Caleb!
Simulator. I know rookie numbers, man. I know. I gotta bump those numbers up.
Caleb, you are the truck driving expert on this podcast. You have the wheel. You
Yeah.
have the fake dashboard and the fake driver's door to stick
Yeah.
your arm out. Pump those numbers, dog.
I know. I will tell you, there's a different driving game. This is not on the list, so I'll tell you about it. But there is a different driving game that I have more hours on.
Forza Horizon 5.
Yep, 100%.
Mm-hmm.
I've got 13 hours on that.
Okay.
13 and a half.
Yep.
So I've definitely played that one more. All right, Greg. So you got Fallout 4 and Arma 3. Now, Greg, I want to tell you, Fallout 4. This number is even a little surprising to me because I feel like I play a ton of Fallout.
Mhm.
I love Fallout. I've only got 87 hours in that. Can you believe that, Greg?
That is surprising.
That's some rookie numbers right there.
Yeah. Gotta pump those numbers, dog.
Yep.
All right, I think there's another one here that's a layup.
Okay.
Skyrim, The Elder Scrolls 5.
Greg, you son of a bitch. I can't believe you'd say that. You're right. Yep. That is my second most played game.
Okay, yes.
And it's worth noting Skyrim is so high on the list. Partly because, it's Skyrim. Who doesn't play Skyrim? But also, fun fact, Skyrim was the very first Steam game I ever got on my PC.
I don't think you're alone in that.
Probably not, no. But yeah, I just thought that was funny. So yep, that is my second most played game.
All right. I tell you what, I'm doing pretty decent on my list here.
You're doing pretty good. You're doing pretty good.
My next
These are
guess-
all pretty easy. Yeah, no, go for it.
Yeah,
Go for it.
we're gonna get I don't know if I'm ever gonna get the number one. I feel like I've wasted my my three big ones with Arma 3, Fallout 4, and Skyrim. I feel like those were like the safe bets.
I will tell you. All right, not gonna give it away or anything. I will tell you, it's a game I do mention quite a good amount though.
Okay.
So
Okay.
you might get it.
All right. So for my next guess,
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Crusader Kings 2.
Oh God, no, no, I can't put hours into that. That'll be if I start that and play it seriously. I'm gonna blink and a year's gonna have gone by. Like I can't do that.
Okay,
No.
so it was between that and my other guess here. The last one on my list, so I'm gonna be in deep trouble if I don't get this one.
Okay.
Age of Empires. I don't have a number.
Ooh. Okay. So I will tell you, Age of Empires is pretty high up in my games, but not in the top 10.
That's a bummer. That's a real bummer for my list here.
Yeah, because I only really play Age of Empires with other people, and it's usually my brother, and we haven't played it in a hot minute. So, yeah. Now, Greg, I'm gonna give you a hint.
Thank you.
All right, I'm gonna tell you. Okay, there is because it might have been scummy to not mention it when you guessed it the first time. I will say, Greg, there is another Fallout on my list.
Okay.
Now,
That
which
doesn't-
Fallout is it?
Yeah. I think it has to be New Vegas.
It is New Vegas.
Okay.
Yep. That is my fifth most played game. Yep.
I've done a remarkable job of getting the upper middle of your list.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, okay, so I have talked about my number one game on the podcast before.
Okay, I'm not willing to. Don't give it to me yet. I want to still have some time to ruminate on it.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. That's all I'm giving you for a hint on that one.
Okay. All right.
Now, if you there's still the upper or I guess the lower level of
Yes.
games if you
Yeah.
want to guess any of those.
I'm
And that's I'll tell you right now, that's where it gets a little more wacky on what is in there.
okay. Now, Persona 5 you've played a lot recently, but it's been on the console.
It has been on PS5, yeah.
Yep, that makes sense. Probably okay. What?
But
Oh,
I'm gonna give you a quick little hint here,
Okay.
okay? Without giving anything away for the games themselves, I will tell you, doesn't necessarily mean that it's strictly PC games in my top 10 here. There might be
Right.
some console games in
I'm
there.
just thinking of like what you would play where.
Yep.
Yep. You definitely played Red Dead Redemption 2 on the PlayStation, right?
Yep.
Okay. Yep. Getting that out of the way. For my next guess,
Okay.
I'm going with
Yep.
a long pause. To really
Okay.
give myself a chance here. Ooh, yeah, I was gonna say that Ghostbusters game, but that wasn't on Steam.
No, although that is a very fun game. Highly recommend.
So that really blew up my spot on that one. Caleb, for my next
Yeah.
guess.
Okay.
Indiana Jones and the Chamber of Handsome.
That's just Harrison Ford's bedroom.
Life.
Chamber of Handsome. That's him. No, okay, and I will tell you,
Okay,
I think it's not fair. I think I steered you away from the answers by saying it's wacky. I wanna clear something up here. The games themselves are actually pretty normal games. You know all of them. You absolutely know all of them. I'm confident you've played 1, 2, 3, probably 3 of them. And then the other 2, I think you might have dabbled in the other 2. But so pretty much I'm saying I think you might have played all of them. They're not necessarily like weird games or wacky games. I just think it's wacky that they're this high on my list. Because as it turns out, I don't play a lot of Steam games, and when I do, it's mostly those top 5 that you've already guessed.
Okay. Now, Caleb,
Yeah.
can I get a hint on number 10?
On number 10, every PC owner has this game.
So by PC owner, you're not saying Steam specific.
No, I'll say Steam.
Okay.
Every Steam owner has this game.
Show me Gmod.
It is Gmod.
Oh, wow.
It is Gmod.
Wow, that was a great, very good hint.
Yeah. That is my 10th most played game. I got really into just some of the fun, wacky games. And I also, back when I didn't have good internet living where I used to, it was kind of like one of the only things I could play on my own and just like experiment with.
For sure.
So, yeah, so I spent a lot of time on Gmod, yeah.
Well, we're here, and I'm not sure
Yeah.
this is going to be on the list,
Okay.
but what about Team Fortress 2?
No, and that's funny because I feel like I have tons of memories playing it. But man, I'm scrolling back so far in my my total playtime games right now to find it. I don't even know where it is. But no, you would think that I've played more hours of that than I have. But
Well,
no.
we're on the topic real quick.
Okay.
This does transition nicely, but we talked about like the Steam concurrent records last week.
Yeah.
Well, Team Fortress 2 had like a summer update recently,
Okay.
and it is a 16-year-old game, but it still managed to just this week set a new concurrent player record for itself. There were 226,000 concurrent players this weekend. It's a fun fact that I saw in scrolling the news this week.
Yep.
Anyways, back to the list.
Wow, you know what's interesting?
What's
I don't
interesting?
know if I couldn't tell you. It actually doesn't look like I have any record of ever playing TF2 on this Steam account,
Weird.
which is weird because I'm like 99% sure I have, but
You ever had other Steam accounts?
not to my knowledge. I guess I might have way back when I first got my PC, so maybe that's what happened.
Mm.
But yeah, it doesn't look like there's any record of me playing it. It's not even in my library or anything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, Caleb,
Yeah.
have you
You
played
need
a
some
lot
hints?
of. What's that?
I asked, do you need any hints?
I'm gonna ask a question.
Okay.
Have you played a lot of co-op games on or not co-op, but just like games with friends?
Um, I will tell you there is one on this list.
Okay, then I'm gonna take a guess at that one.
Okay.
Daisy.
No, no,
Okay.
no.
Okay.
Um, let me give you a little hint for
Please,
this
please,
one.
please.
We've talked about it in this episode.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
Civilization 5.
Is Civilization 5. That is my, oh man, where's my list? There we go. That is my 7th most played game.
Okay.
Yep.
7th.
7th.
What is that good for hours wise?
I've only put 26.9 hours into Civilization.
Caleb, get in there. Put that 27th hour on there. Round out that 27th hour, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah. Did I say 26.9?
Yeah.
Did I say the point? Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Round it out to 27 there. Just
I know. I really need to.
you don't
Yeah.
need to put it. It's only like 5 minutes.
I'm just gonna turn the game on
Yeah.
and then just walk away.
Yeah.
Which okay, wait. Funny story. One of these games is that situation. I just want to put that out there.
Okay.
So I don't think it's a game you would guess either, because honestly, you could ask me, why would you have this on your PC?
Caleb,
And
I've
I would
got a
tell you,
guess.
I don't know. Yeah, go for
I'm
it.
very excited about this one.
Okay.
Mount and Blade 2 Bannerlord.
Oh, I'm sorry, Greg. You're so close. You're so close. That's not it. That is not on there.
Mount and Blade 3 Bannerlord.
No. I mean, you were right with Mountain Blade 2. That is the game.
Warband.
Hey, there you go. Mountain Blade Warband. Greg, do you want to guess what place that is?
That's going to be your number one.
That is my number one most played game. Number one on Steam. Almost 200 hours. Mountain Blade Warband. Yep.
Now, Caleb, I did that without a hint.
You did that without a hint. Greg, I'm proud of you.
You know how I did it?
Huh.
I was looking in Steam charts at like most downloaded games. I saw it and it clicked in my head.
Nice. Yep. That is there. Now, Greg, I have 4 games left that you haven't. Oh, sorry, 3 left that you haven't guessed.
Okay.
You did guess.
Mm-hmm.
I
think I'm on to one.
Let me cross that up. Okay, what do you got, Greg?
Baldur's Gate 3.
Oh, that is just outside of my top 10. It's getting there.
Guess. Yeah.
It's getting there, but it's just outside of it.
Okay.
Yeah, so okay. Let me throw this out there. All right. 2 of them, honestly, it's really funny. All 3 of them are the same kind of game, same type of game, I think you could say. To a point, they're all the same type of game. Oh man, it's hard. I don't know how much of a hint I can give you here without like giving something away. I'll say they're all kind of the same type of game, but set in different time periods.
Okay.
Not part of a series, though. They're not related to each other
right.
in any way. Just the type.
Okay. Show me Call of Duty Modern Warfare.
Yeah, probably not. No.
All right. Am I in the right realm with shooters?
Not necessarily.
Okay, that's good information.
How about I tell you what the realm is?
Give me the realm.
Okay. I'm going to tell you they're all open world titles. Um, open world. Yeah, that's all I'll say.
Yep,
For now.
yep,
They're all
okay.
open world titles.
Mafia 2.
Greg, you son of a bitch. That's my number 9 most played game. And it's funny because you could ask why is that your most played game? Because I've played it through twice on Steam,
Okay. Okay.
and then a third time on PlayStation.
Yep. I
So
know that is a game you like.
I love Mafia 2. That's in my top 10 games of all time, not just play hours. So
Two
yeah,
more
Greg,
open world games is what you're
there
telling
are
me.
there are 2 more, yeah. And remember, one of them is a situation where the game was left running.
One of them was cheating.
Pretty much, yeah.
All right. I don't think this is going to be there, but I got to guess when you say open world game.
Yep.
Grand Theft Auto 4.
Yeah. Oh, no.
5?
Wait, I'm sorry. Yes, 5.
I
Yep.
changed my thought at the last minute. Let's go 4.
Yeah. No, I okay, honestly though, it's funny. 4 would have been on there had it not run like dog shit on Steam.
Oh yeah.
For some reason the port on Steam for GTA 4 is so badly optimized. So not GTA 4, but yeah, GTA 5. That's the game that it just got left running, and so I have over 30.9 hours of it on Steam. Not all of those hours are me, I tell you what. I
Sometimes it was just the ghost.
Yeah, well, so what happened was that was a game I got when I first got into like wanting to mod games because I always assumed like, oh, it would be fun to see what I could do with GTA. And I didn't realize that that's one of, in my opinion, maybe not to anyone that's actually good at modding, but in my opinion, I didn't realize GTA was one of the harder games to mod because they use like the Rockstar launcher and stuff like that. So most of those hours is me leaving the game on and putting mods on and seeing if the game is going to crash with mods attached to it. And part of that is launching the game endlessly and having it crash and launching it again. And yeah. So, yeah. Now, Greg, there's one more game, and it's open world. It's in the same kind of, I'll tell you this. It's in the same kind of vein as GTA, but it's a first-person game.
Okay. First person, you say?
Yeah.
Oh, that really throws out what I was gonna guess.
Oh.
Are we talking Saints Row 3?
No.
No,
Nope. I've
yeah.
never played a Saints Row game, really. No.
Okay. Ooh, this is tough. Dying Light.
Very similar to Dying Light, the style of it, I think. But not a zombie game.
Oh no, this is awful.
You sound like you're watching the stock market board roll across and things aren't looking good.
I am the monkey with the chart with extra pieces of paper and his family with the family on the desk, the children.
Head in hands.
Head in hands. Oh no.
Glasses on the desk. Yeah. Oh man, I can't really give you another hint without just giving it away, You're very close though. Dying Light I think is a pretty good guess. I you could argue the games aren't really that alike, but it's the same open world first person kind of style.
Is it
Yeah.
set in a medieval setting?
It is not.
Okay,
Nope.
there goes that.
I could tell you the setting,
Okay.
but that might give it away.
I would very much appreciate that.
The setting is future.
Cyberpunk?
It is cyberpunk, believe it or not.
Okay. I don't know why I didn't think that sooner.
No. Well, I mean, honestly, at the rate I've shit talked cyberpunk. No, it's hard. I flip flop on cyberpunk a lot. I have no problem admitting that. Some days I love cyberpunk. Other days I feel like it's a shallow shell of a game. I'm not gonna lie to you, Greg. Just the other week I told you I don't know what could get me back into cyberpunk. And then this week I immediately got back into cyberpunk. So I don't know what to tell you, man.
The duality of man.
Yeah, sometimes. So okay, so specifically, I started playing it on the PS5 again. And when I did my first playthrough on PC, um, I it's my eighth most played game on PC because I spent a ton of time just doing the story, and I think I might have tried like modding it a little bit too to try to fix things I thought were broken. Um, so, um, I did mostly story missions though, and I don't know. I hate the story of Cyberpunk.
Yeah, it's not great.
No, I just don't like it. And like, I love Keanu Reeves as an actor, as a man. He's fine, but like I just don't care about his character, and I don't care about like the whole game. V's whining about, oh, I'm dying, and like, cool, man. I want to do side
Go
quests.
ahead and die already.
Kind of like I want to do the other things. And so that's what I did this week on PS5. I dived back into it with the sole intention of only doing side quests.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what made me want to get back into it. I was reading online some article that was talking about the weirdest missions in Cyberpunk, and there was a mission where you crucify somebody, and like it full crucifixion, like you nail them to a cross. And I thought that's pretty fucking wacky, and that reminds me of like some of the wackier quests in like Fallout and stuff. And so I got a good feeling in my gut when I read that, and I was like, I gotta check out some of these side quests if they're all gonna be this wacky and nuts. Gotta take a look. And yeah, I tell you what, so far I haven't been disappointed. A lot of the side quests have actually been a really good time, and far more enjoyable than the actual story.
Well, I'm glad you found some love for Cyberpunk, Caleb.
Yeah, I guarantee you next week I'll lose it.
Yep.
And then
Be
the
gone
week
again.
after I'll gain it again. So, yeah.
A little bit of flip flopping.
Yeah.
Now, Caleb, before we send this one off,
Yeah.
I want to get your opinion on something.
Okay. Cyberpunk, love it or hate it.
The most talked about topic on this podcast, and you just talked about it. I'm like, Caleb, what do you think about Cyberpunk? You like this game?
It is kind of funny. I like you're probably right by saying that is probably the most talked about game in this podcast.
Oh, I definitely think it is.
That's funny. I didn't even think about that. Anyways,
Yeah.
continue though. What do you get in my opinion on?
Episode 30 is just going to be the Cyberpunk special where we're just going to replay the game and go like, let's review this game again.
Yeah.
What I want to get your opinion on, Caleb,
Okay.
is towards the end of last week, the Xbox versus FTC lawsuit that was underway settled, and it was found that Microsoft can buy Activision Blizzard. It's not a monopoly. It's not a monopoly if they do so. So that has basically cleared the way for Sony, or nope, not Sony, the other ones, Microsoft, to buy Activision Blizzard.
Yep.
And in the light of that, Phil Spencer of Xbox fame has recently announced a binding agreement with Sony to keep Call of Duty on PlayStation. No more details were given at the time. It's just they're going to keep the game on PlayStation. As a PlayStation guy, what I want to know, Caleb, is how do you feel knowing that the two are working together to keep Call of Duty on the PlayStation?
As an overall like deal kind of thing, I think that's awesome. I think more companies should be like, listen, I don't even like that. Like, I mean, I don't like that. I don't like exclusives. All right, I'm gonna come out and say that. All right, I hate the fact that like Xbox players can't play the Spider-Man games. I mean, I guess now like PC can and stuff, but like I hate the fact that like people can't play those. I hate that PlayStation can't play Halo or something. I think it would be. I mean, I'm not even a big fan of Halo. I don't necessarily care myself to play it, but like I do think it would be cool to see game companies, I don't know, come together and put games on each other's consoles. But as a whole, for Call of Duty, I will say I just don't care anymore. How many Call of Duties in are we? I mean, come on. I don't even know if I have the newest one. I'm playing whatever the Call of Duty 5 Call of Duties ago was. So honestly, hey, good for them that they want to keep it on PlayStation. But if I could trade a game, I would say, hey, Xbox, take Call of Duty and give PlayStation Starfield. Let's do that.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, I also don't care about Call of Duty.
Yeah.
It's not a game for me.
Yeah.
But I like the sentiment of these two companies working together instead of trying to put the other one out of business.
Yeah.
Because ultimately neither of them are going out of business.
Right.
So if the benefit, or if what happens out of them working together is more people playing video games get to play the video games they want to play, then that's ideally the end goal.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So yeah, with that being said, I'm so glad that you don't get to play Starfield because you're a stupid PlayStation loser.
And I am going to cry myself to sleep. Good night, folks.
Yeah, I think you got anything else you wanna hit before we wrap this one up?
Yeah, I think the real game that's shared between consoles is the friends we made along the way.
I would agree. I would absolutely agree, Caleb.
Look at this. What a wholesome ending.
Mm-hmm.
Ah.
You know, if you want to tell us about the friends you made along the way, we have an email address that you can shoot us a little email. That is Greg, being my name, at pintandclick.com. Also on pintandclick.com, we now have an actual website. If you go to pintandclick.com, you'll see a little bit of a website to peruse. So if you want to check that out, check that out.
Check it out.
Yeah.
Do it.
If you like this episode, as always, tell just one friend. And
Only
then
one.
That friend tells a friend, and soon the whole world knows about the Pint and Click podcast.
That's true.
Leave a review. I think they do those on Apple Podcasts still.
Yeah.
And tell us where you listen to the podcast. I'd love to know.
Oh, yeah. We're dying to know.
We're dying to know.
We're dying to meet ya.
We're dying. Come shake my hand. Bring it in.
We got a family cookout coming up.
Yep.
We want you there.
Bring some beans.
Bring beans. Bring the one thing that's not good at a cookout. Well, baked beans, actually. I was thinking refried. Yeah, I was thinking refried beans. Bring some taco mix.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, bring some refried beans to our family cookout.
Bring them.
Thank
We'll
you.
slap those on the burgers we cook.
Oh my gosh, I have to go. Thank you everyone for listening. We will be back next week with another episode of the Pint and Click podcast.
Give your friends a Monokuma coin.
Yes. And goodbye.
Goodbye.